While most people see grapes as ordinary supermarket fruit costing a few dollars per pound, in Japan's Ishikawa prefecture, a single cluster of ruby Roman grapes can sell for more than a luxury car. These crimson jewels have broken auction records, with one cluster fetching an astounding $11,000 in 2020. What makes this possible is an obsession with perfection that borders on the impossible. Each individual grape must measure exactly 1 centimeters in diameter, weigh at least 30 grams, and achieve a sugar content of 18 to 20 degrees Brix. Only 24,000 clusters are produced annually across the entire region, making them rarer than many precious stones. To put this in perspective, Japan produces over 180,000 tons of regular grapes each year, but ruby Romans represent less than 0.01% of that volume. The waiting list for premium clusters extends for months, with Tokyo's most exclusive restaurants and luxury hotels competing for allocations like collectors bidding on fine art. But here's what makes this story truly fascinating. These astronomical prices aren't driven by marketing gimmicks or artificial scarcity. They reflect a 15-year cultivation journey that transforms ordinary grapevines into living sculptures, where every environmental factor is controlled with scientific precision and each fruit is crafted like a gemstone. Join us as we dive into the extraordinary world of Japan's most expensive fruit and discover how ancient agricultural wisdom meets cutting-edge horticultural science. The ruby Roman story began in 1995, when Ishikawa Prefecture's agricultural researchers embarked on a 14-year quest to create the perfect red grape. Their goal wasn't just another variety, but a fruit so exceptional it would redefine luxury dining and showcase Japan's mastery of precision agriculture. What emerged was more than just a grape. It became a symbol of Japanese craftsmanship applied to farming. The economic significance extends far beyond agriculture. Ruby Romans have created an entirely new market category, bridging the gap between food and luxury goods. A single cluster often serves as a corporate gift worth more than most monthly salaries, presented in custom wooden boxes with certificates of authenticity. The fruit has become so culturally significant that receiving ruby Romans is considered one of Japan's highest honors in business relationships. What makes these grapes genuinely valuable lies in their unprecedented characteristics. Each ruby Roman grape contains 18–20% sugar content compared to 14 to 16% in premium table grapes. The skin is remarkably thin, yet resilient, creating a satisfying pop when bitten that releases concentrated sweetness. The deep ruby red color that gives them their name results from anthocyanin levels 3 times higher than conventional red grapes. Most remarkably, properly stored ruby Romans maintain their peak flavor and texture for up to 3 weeks after harvest. The annual production cycle generates approximately $50 million in direct economic impact across Ishikawa Prefecture, with each of the 300 certified growers averaging $166,000 in ruby Roman revenue per season. This figure represents roughly 40% of their total farm income from just 2 to 3% of their vineyard space, demonstrating the incredible efficiency of ultra-premium agriculture when executed with Japanese precision. The ruby Roman journey begins 15 years before the first commercial harvest, when specially selected rootstock is grafted with certified ruby Roman vines in sterile greenhouse environments. Only nurseries with perfect track records over minimum 20 years receive authorization to propagate these vines, and each plant comes with a genetic certificate tracing its lineage back to the original mother vine. The selection process for new vineyards is extraordinarily rigorous. Soil composition must contain exactly 0.8 to 1.2% organic matter, with pH levels maintained between 6.0 and 6.5. The location requires southern exposure with precisely 6.5 hours of direct sunlight during growing season, protected from winds exceeding 15 May to March. Temperature fluctuations cannot exceed 8 degrees Celsius within any 24-hour period, necessitating sophisticated microclimate control systems that cost upward of $80,000 per greenhouse. During the first 5 years, young vines receive intensive care that resembles medical treatment more than traditional farming. Each plant is watered with precisely measured amounts, never more than 400 milliliters per day during growing season, delivered through computerized drip irrigation systems that monitor soil moisture levels every 30 minutes. The growing medium contains 12 specific minerals in exact proportions, adjusted weekly based on leaf tissue analysis conducted by certified laboratories. Temperature control represents perhaps the most critical factor. Greenhouse environments maintain 25-28 degrees C during day hours and 18-20 degrees C at night, regulated by automated systems that respond within 2 minutes to any deviation. Humidity levels stay locked between 60–65%, controlled through dehumidifiers and ventilation systems that exchange air every 45 minutes. Even lighting receives scientific attention, with LED supplementation providing exactly 800 micromoles of photosynthetic photon flux density during cloudy periods. The training process for new Ruby Roman farmers takes 3 full years, covering everything from grafting techniques to flavor chemistry. Apprentices spend 800 hours annually working alongside master growers, learning to identify the subtle visual cues that indicate optimal growing conditions. Only after completing this intensive program and passing written examinations do candidates receive certification to begin their own Ruby Roman operation. Once Ruby Roman vines mature enough for fruit production, the real artistry begins. Each vine produces dozens of flower clusters during spring, but growers immediately remove 85% of them, leaving only the most promising candidates in optimal positions for sun exposure and air circulation. This dramatic reduction concentrates the plant's energy into fewer but superior clusters. The cluster thinning process occurs in 3 carefully timed stages. First thinning happens during bloom, when growers select only 4 to 6 clusters per vine based on flower density and cluster shape. Second thinning occurs at fruit set, reducing each selected cluster to 30 to 40 individual grapes by removing smaller or misshapen berries. The final thinning happens during veraison, when color change begins, leaving exactly 26–30 perfect grapes per cluster, arranged in the ideal pyramidal shape that defines Ruby Roman perfection. Each remaining cluster receives individual protection through custom paper bags designed specifically for Ruby Romans. These aren't ordinary fruit bags, but precision-engineered coverings that allow exactly 15% light transmission while protecting against insects, birds, and weather damage. The paper contains calcium carbonate to reflect excess heat and is perforated with laser-cut holes, spaced 3 millimeters apart, to ensure proper air circulation without compromising protection. Advanced monitoring technology tracks every environmental variable affecting grape development. Sensors measure sugar content progression weekly using non-invasive spectrometry, allowing growers to predict harvest dates within 24-hour windows. Microscopic cameras photograph individual grapes daily during the final 6 weeks, creating time-lapse records that help identify the exact moment of peak ripeness. The feeding program during development phase requires pharmaceutical-grade precision. Vines receive 14 different nutrient solutions applied at specific growth stages, with concentrations adjusted based on weekly soil and tissue analysis. Calcium applications occur every 10 days to ensure proper cell wall development that creates Ruby Roman's distinctive texture. Potassium supplementation increases during the final month to maximize sugar accumulation and color intensity. Quality control inspectors visit each certified vineyard twice weekly during growing season, examining clusters through magnifying lenses and using portable sugar meters to verify development progress. Any cluster showing signs of uneven ripening, color variation, or size inconsistency is immediately removed from the premium category, even if it would qualify as excellent by conventional grape standards. Ruby Roman harvesting occurs during a narrow 2-week window in late August, when sugar content peaks at exactly 18–20 degrees. Brix and acidity drops to optimal levels. Master harvesters, certified through years of training, select only clusters meeting the legendary golf ball standard. Each grape must be large enough that a standard golf ball cannot pass through the cluster without touching fruit. The harvesting process resembles jewelry crafting more than agriculture. Workers wear cotton gloves and use specialized scissors with curved blades designed to cut stems without jarring the delicate fruit. Each cluster is immediately placed in individual foam-lined containers, with tissue paper separating every grape to prevent contact damage. Harvest occurs only during morning hours when temperatures stay below 20 degrees, preserving the fruit's cellular structure and extending shelf life. Post-harvest processing involves multiple quality grades that determine final market value. Premium grade Ruby Romans, representing roughly 15% of total harvest, must have every grape measuring 3.1 cm diameter minimum with uniform deep red coloration. Special grade clusters, comprising about 35% of production, allow slight size variations but maintain perfect shape and color. Standard grade Ruby Romans, making up the remaining 50%, still command premium prices but are typically destined for high-end gift markets rather than ultra-luxury restaurants. The grading process employs specialized measuring devices, calibrated to 0.1 mm precision, with each grape individually assessed for size, weight, color uniformity, and surface blemishes. Color analysis uses spectrophotometers to measure exact anthocyanin levels, ensuring consistent visual appeal. Sugar content verification occurs through sample testing of selected grapes from each cluster, with results recorded in certificates that accompany every premium purchase. Packaging represents an art form in itself, with premium Ruby Romans presented in custom wooden boxes crafted from Japanese cypress. Each cluster nestles in molded foam, designed specifically for Ruby Roman dimensions, with individual grapes positioned to showcase the perfect pyramidal cluster shape. Certificates of authenticity include the specific vineyard location, harvest date, sugar content analysis, and the signature of the certified grower. Distribution channels remain tightly controlled, with most premium clusters sold directly to restaurants, luxury hotels, and corporate clients through advance contracts established years ahead of harvest. Auction sales of exceptional clusters create headline prices, but represent less than 5% of total volume. The remaining fruit reaches consumers through exclusive department store partnerships, where individual clusters sell for $800 to $2,500, depending on grade and size. The Ruby Roman industry directly employs over 300 specialized farming families across Ishikawa Prefecture, creating an economic ecosystem that extends far beyond grape production. Each certified grower generates an average annual income of $200,000, $800,000 from Ruby Roman cultivation alone, representing 40 to 70% of their total farm revenue from less than 10% of their vineyard area. This extraordinary return on investment has revitalized rural communities that might otherwise struggle with Japan's agricultural challenges. The broader economic impact reaches into manufacturing, research, and service sectors. Specialized equipment manufacturers have developed Ruby Roman-specific tools, from custom pruning shears to precision irrigation systems, creating a $15 million annual market in agricultural technology. Research institutions receive substantial funding for ongoing variety improvement and cultivation optimization, employing dozens of scientists and graduate students focused exclusively on premium grape development. Export potential remains largely untapped, with 98% of Ruby Roman production consumed domestically. Recent test shipments to Hong Kong and Singapore luxury markets achieved prices of $300 to $500 per cluster, suggesting significant international expansion opportunities. However, growers remain cautious about scaling production, recognizing that scarcity is integral to Ruby Roman's value proposition. The social impact extends beyond economics into cultural preservation and pride. Ruby Roman cultivation has attracted young people back to farming, with 25% of current growers under age 40 compared to 8% in conventional Japanese agriculture. The intense technical requirements and guaranteed premium returns make Ruby Roman farming attractive to university graduates who might otherwise pursue urban careers. Tourism has emerged as an unexpected benefit, with agricultural tours generating over $5 million annually in visitor spending. International food enthusiasts travel specifically to experience Ruby Roman tastings, creating demand for luxury accommodations and fine dining experiences throughout Ishikawa Prefecture. This agricultural tourism helps diversify rural economies and showcases Japanese farming expertise to global audiences. Community pride in Ruby Roman achievement is enormous, with successful growers regarded as local celebrities and cultural ambassadors. The fruits serve as diplomatic gifts from Ishikawa Prefecture to visiting dignitaries, international partners, and sister cities worldwide, raising the region's profile far beyond what conventional agriculture could accomplish. Behind the stunning beauty and astronomical prices of Ruby Roman grapes lies a complex web of ethical questions that challenge our understanding of food, luxury, and resource allocation. Each cluster requires approximately 1,000 liters of water during its growing cycle, along with intensive energy consumption for climate control systems that run continuously throughout the growing season. In a world grappling with water scarcity and climate change, critics question whether such resource-intensive production can be justified for luxury food items. Supporters argue that Ruby Roman cultivation represents the pinnacle of sustainable intensive agriculture, producing maximum value from minimal land use while preserving traditional farming knowledge and supporting rural communities. The 15-year investment timeline and multi-generational farming families demonstrate long-term environmental stewardship that contrasts sharply with industrial agriculture's short-term focus. Additionally, the premium pricing allows farmers to maintain profitable operations on small parcels, preventing agricultural land conversion to urban development. The social implications extend beyond environmental concerns into questions of food equity and cultural values. While Ruby Romans command prices that could feed dozens of people, they also preserve artisanal farming techniques and provide economic stability for rural communities facing population decline. The fruits serve cultural functions beyond nutrition, strengthening business relationships and expressing respect in ways that reflect deep Japanese social values around gift-giving and craftsmanship. Perhaps the most thought-provoking aspect is what Ruby Romans reveal about human nature and value creation. Are we witnessing the future of precision agriculture, where technology and tradition combine to create extraordinary products that command premium prices? Or does this represent an unsustainable luxury market that diverts resources from addressing global food security challenges? The answer may lie not in choosing sides, but in understanding how Ruby Roman techniques could be adapted for broader agricultural applications. The precision monitoring, environmental control, and quality management systems developed for luxury grape production have already influenced cultivation of more accessible crops, suggesting that innovations driven by premium markets can eventually benefit mainstream agriculture. As you consider this remarkable intersection of tradition, technology, and luxury, what do you think represents the greater value? Preserving artisanal food traditions that support rural communities, or focusing agricultural resources exclusively on feeding the maximum number of people? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that explore the fascinating world where food meets culture, tradition, and innovation.